Hello, welcome to this Carrier Update brought to you by Powerfleet. I'm here with the one, the only, the multi-talented man of the hour, Michael Vincent. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Vincent.
Standing in for the Sultan, my friend. I'll see what I can do. I think my shoes are bigger than his, so I'm trying to scratch into them.
We're in for a treat.
We are in for a treat this morning, absolutely. So, hey, nice to be here, though, with you, my friend. We've been doing this more and more often. I like it. Let's get into this a little bit. So, hey, look at the trending here on the outbound tender rejections. It's got outbound tender rejections for the entire United States in blue. Notice the trend.
Yeah.
They're down to 12.76, my friend. This is incredibly low for right now, and especially this time of year when things are usually getting tight seasonality-wise, right? It is dropping, and you see some of the reason there. The volume's also dropping off a cliff, continuing to go down at 13,045. So dropping quite quickly right here on a trend that doesn't look like it's going to reverse anytime soon. This looks like a very, very strong trend south. I would expect for this to keep on moving.
Yeah, so Michael, when I look at this, the first thing I think of is like, if I had no context of looking at something like this, I was just looking at the chart, someone just pulled it up.
Yeah.
And I saw like the 5-year trend or something. I'm like, all right, this is a correction. In a sense, would you see that almost as like a correction in an overly stimulated supply chain? Now we're seeing that there is just not as much activity and potentially volumes coming down, that this is kind of bound to happen after so much capacity really entered the market.
Yeah, it absolutely was bound to happen, right? I mean, the economy didn't just double in size. The question is how far it was going to correct itself, and does it correct and bounce? Is there kind of these ripple effects, which I think, you know, early on when we first thought we were going to come out of the pandemic, the first time, I think there was multiple times we thought we were going to come out, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about, you know, does there swoosh to recovery? Is it a V shape? Is it a W? What it happens to be? It's a roller coaster is what it is, and there's going to be twists, and there may even be a loop in there, the first time ever in a chart is possible, I think. But yeah, it's strange. But if you're looking back 5 years ago, this similar was 18 into 19. Okay, it's not that dissimilar. I've shown that on a couple updates on LinkedIn. If you go back that far, 18 into 19. Now the difference is that height of 18 was not for 24 months.
Right.
It was an up and down. This is a little bit different as people got used to things. Let's check out the next chart. So what we've got here is our 7-day van rate per mile compared to reefer and your favorite? Flatbed in orange, and in orange too, your favorite color for it as well. So blue is your dry van spot rate, and we're down at 329. You can see it's coming down ever since the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Right? I mean, January 1st, and it has been coming down. There's a slight hiccup there at the beginning of February, but just coming down and still trending that way as far as the spot is on the 7-day moving average. Reefer off just. There's a roller coaster ride for you coming down, and we're going into produce season.
Yeah.
Right? So trending and looking at those as well, the volumes and the tender rejections on the produce to see, is there enough produce season this year to show a slowdown in this descent or even an uptick for a little bit? Who knows? We'll see what goes on there. We'll see the strength of what's going on there. But also your flatbed there.
Yeah.
Anthony, what's going on with flatbed, my friend? That's got to be construction and new orders and that type of stuff?
I think you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, we're looking at flatbed. I have a shipper that's going to talk a little bit to it, but we're looking at a lot of construction activity that got pulled forward. I mean, on the residential side, you have that FOMO effect. A lot of consumers knew or were anticipating mortgage rates increasing, so they're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to pull this purchase forward. And so I think we've seen a lot of home purchases being pulled forward. Infrastructure is going to be another big one as we continue to roll into the warmer months. And I think non-res will have a pretty bright future as we continue to move throughout 2022 as well.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay, excellent stuff. Let's check out the next chart here and see what's doing here. So we're looking at the van contract initial report for average base rate per mile. The van contract, 295 in the blue. Still on the rise, a little bit of a sideways movement here lately, right? But still very much on the rise. A little bit, it looks like it's starting to slow down there. I'd expect that's probably what's going to happen there. Spot is in purple.
Yeah.
We know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this separation between that purple and that blue, when they crisscross, things get interesting.
Gotcha.
Things get very interesting. Now we start talking about how far that goes, and do shippers initiate that waterfall effect in the routing guide, right? Does it become more attractive to jump out directly into the spot market? And that can play havoc with all kinds of data that you've got to watch and see what is going on if you're a carrier. You got to be watching that quite closely.
I think that's a great point, Michael. Thank you so much for this update. We'll check in with you again throughout the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Things are about to get interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to toss it back over to Tony Mulvey.